Gotta unmute the appropriate boxes.
Oh, I hear you on there too.
Is that bad?
Oh yeah, I gotta.
You're supposed to hear me, right?
Yeah, no, I was just making sure the sound's working for you.
All right. I don't have any music planned or programmed for this session, but by the next one we will. So I'll have more urban music. Currently trying to find one that's not copyrighted. So the last thing we want is to have takedown notices.
Because it's New Orleans, I recommend Zydeco, and I'm fairly certain you can find things before like the current cutoff year for like when a copyright expires. Try that.
All right. Yeah,
There's all kinds of public domain blues, jazz.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at even Serenescape again, just for the city bustling, water dripping sewer, especially if we go to the Feywild. Get some good.
It's a place that deserves some ambiance.
All right. So to kick things off, none of you, from when you guys were doing your character creation, none of you really knew each other. Is that correct?
No, I knew Hannah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me and Terry know each other pretty well.
Okay.
Mike and I go way back.
All right. So
this is where I go to hide out when I'm in trouble.
All right. So you guys, it's not just you're like passing. You guys know each other pretty well.
Yeah, I'm there as a cat.
Gillard, who are you associated with?
Sadly, I think we all know the person that I have to rely on to get rid of problems for me is Freddy.
I'm listening to jazz, by the way. I'm not just dancing like that for the hell of it.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I can put my own music on. Huh?
All right.
So you find yourself, everyone's not going together. You just all find yourself in the arts and warehouse district of New Orleans, and you're all going about different tasks. So Terry actually finds himself standing on a street corner preaching the word of his Savior, and Gillard happens to be making his way to the art gallery to observe a small crowd, or on the way to the art gallery, and he notices a small crowd. Oh, Jesus, let me turn this mute off. I keep stumbling them off my words because of it. There we go. Now I can't hear myself talk. Gillard's on his way to the art gallery. He observes that a small crowd's forming around Terry. And Terry, I think you're just preaching the word, right?
Yeah, I figure I've taken a little break, cast a glance or two at Mike, who tends to stick around whenever this is going on. He tends to stick around most of the time, honestly.
This is very entertaining.
So while you're preaching and you're on your break, are you handing out pamphlets or just interacting with people, or are you just kind of just hanging against the wall drinking some water?
Oh, I'm not nearly up to the pamphlet stage yet. I've only just blown into town and started setting up shop once again. The pamphlets will come in due time, as will more organized activities. But for now, I'm just drinking my drink, chatting with the people who've gathered.
Okay. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your Savior?
Shall I give the sermon?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right. I finish off. I cap back up my water bottle. Hop up on my soapbox. Genuine quality wooden soapbox. Nobody's sure where I got it. I get up there and I say, "My friends, my brothers and sisters, has God ever made a mistake? A lot of us, we go about our limited ways. We trip, we stumble. We check the wrong box on the form, and then we've already sent it off the post office by the time we realize it. We make mistakes, but does God? Were we made in the image of God if we make mistakes? And does he judge us the way we judge ourselves? I tell you now, of course God makes mistakes. He let the serpent into the garden. He left the fruit sitting right there. If you wanted to keep it away, you'd take it off the tree. Killed everybody on earth but 2 people. Then had to sacrifice his only son. Few of those are probably mistakes. You and I, we were all made in the image of God. And if we are flawed, then we reflect the flaws of our Creator. And yet, here we are. God is still in his heaven. And most days, it seems just fine. It turned out all right. The life we have, the world we have remains a beautiful thing. To make it better than all right may fall to us. But remember, no matter how you fail in your day, you are made in the image of God. And if he from his heaven can make so beautiful a place as this, after a long history of mistakes, you will survive your missteps. And what you create will be beautiful.
That's deep.
And he takes a little break again.
So I want you to do me a favor. Go ahead and roll for flair.
They also.
A 3. So that you rolled a good. So does Gillard, would you say that he caught your attention?
I would say with a good, I would.
Don't worry
I
about
would
the
appreciate
good.
the
With
underlying
what?
message, but not really. I don't.
So you're gonna contest, like you're not gonna just stop. Like he piqued your interest, but you're not like fully enthralled.
Yeah, I'm. As a person, every fiber of me is like, how dare you? But
One does not simply convert Gillard Smith.
nah. Like
do me
I'm
a
completely. This character does not. He's not like a devout of anything, but he's just like more apathetic than anything. Like,
So do me a favor. Roll 4 fate dice.
oh no,
You're
I
you're
didn't roll out the ones. Those
you're
are the
con- you're
fudge, right?
contesting you're contesting this draw. So I want to see how fate plays a role in this.
Yeah, he doesn't care, but all right.
You don't have to be
Just-
converted, but I am very attention grabbing.
This is more to see if.
Ooh.
All right. So while he hasn't converted you, he's piqued your interest enough to go over and at least strike up a conversation. See a little bit more about who this street preacher is and what he's about. Not necessarily from a standpoint of you're looking to convert, but you being someone who likes to have a finger on the pulse of the street and trade in information to an extent. You could see someone who actually is on a street corner interacting with the public, the poor, the weary, how he may be even a good source for trading information with. So, Mike, what are you doing during Terry's sermon?
Oh, it's
putting
in
in.
chat there.
You just you're sitting there next to him, just doing sign language that no one can really see.
Yeah, well, it's not even really sign language, so even if they could, they couldn't really read it.
You're like that guy who got busted by the what was it, NATO or something, and he was doing like the fake sign language that didn't actually mean
Just the
anything.
random bullshit.
Did he just tell me to steal third?
That's fine.
So
I'm not that interested in the message itself. I'm just
you're interested in the man.
Yeah. And in the back of my mind, I'm kind of holding the thought of making our mistakes beautiful. Kind of resonates with me. That's kind of nice. I mean, you gotta take things in life as like take the good parts, you know, because if you sit there and dwell on like the details of the doctrine, you'll get a headache, you know.
So,
Good
quick,
things,
quick,
good vibes.
quick question.
Yeah.
Can Terry see me normally?
Oh yeah, yeah. I was pretty sure we could.
Yeah.
Just to verify.
Yeah, you guys have a special connection. Like, other people can't unless you make an effort to.
Unless I reveal myself.
Right. And you have to go and you have to kind of like gather the ectoplasm from the Never Never to actually take a solid form. But you guys have a unique connection to where he can actually see you and your spirit.
Yeah, that's perfect.
But however, Mike, you actually notice there's a man in the crowd who not only is listening to the sermon, but you kind of see his eyes occasionally darting over to you and chuckling occasionally. He's an average build, an average height man, of a well build. He's actually wearing a blue blazer with a nice name brand pair of jeans. He's got a scarf wrapped around his neck and a messenger bag thrown over his shoulder. After a couple of minutes of listening to the sermon and kind of glancing over at you, he kind of makes his way out of the crowd and into the art and auction, the Crescent City Art and Auction House, which is kind of kitty corner from where Terry's giving his sermon. While that's going on, across the street, there's actually a separate small art dealership that has a street artist just kind of doing caricature style portraits, doing some speed painting with oil art or oil paints. And there's a separate small crowd kind of just standing around paying $30 to have their little portraits done. And people are just kind of gathering and watching. And that's where we actually find that Morgana is kind of making her way through that crowd, carrying a bag of different supplies that she just picked up for her shop. And coming from the other direction is actually Freddy. He's on his way to what I am assuming is an underground gambling rings going on somewhere in the warehouse district. So he's running a little bit late and pushing his way through the crowd, and he accidentally bumps into Morgana, causing her to drop her bag, spilling some of the obscure products that she'd purchased, one of which may be a jar of just spiders that is broken open and sends a large number of small spiders scurrying across the crowd. A few people jump and draw back.
Freddy, what are you doing?
You're on push to talk.
Looks at his clock. Can't be late.
Me?
Can't be late.
Me and Push to Talk?
No, shoot.
No,
No, it was
shit.
me.
Oh.
I'd forgotten again. He was being kind and reminding me.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I hurry to pick up spiders and whatnot and retrieve them for her as quickly as possible without injuring them.
Just let him go this time.
No.
So
That's that cat nature.
Morgana, when it comes to enchanting, what would you say some of the more obscure ingredients you might purchase?
Obscure. No, because she would go to Morgana would go to some of the like the more obscure ingredients. Like she wouldn't be anywhere that you would see normal mortals walking about, basically. Mostly she just carries stuff back like herbs, different spices, candles, things she might need.
So no vial of snake kisses or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Not necessarily.
All right. So as everyone's kind of interacting with each other, you actually notice from, I'd say about maybe 20 minutes has gone by. It's crowds are bustling through the streets. It's sun has set, so it's not dark yet, but it's kind of at that getting close to the witching hour. Really, that's a bit rare. What are you guys going on about? Oh, it's Terry and Mike talking. I got to get chat build up into this screen so people can see the banter that goes on. Anyways, as everyone's kind of just socializing, you actually start hearing some shouting coming from across the street at the base of the stairs that leads into the Crescent City Art and Auction House. Terry, you actually would notice the man that was observing your sermon is actually in a scuffle with what appears to be a woman of average height. She's in her maybe mid to late 60s. She has shoulder length white hair that covers her face, and she wears a hooded sweater with yoga pants. She seems like she kind of blends in, but there's something off about her. And you find that she's wrestling with this well-built male. She seems to be overpowering him, and where before he had just a messenger bag, he's carrying this metal box underneath one arm that he's kind of putting his body between this woman and the box, and she seems to be trying to take the box from him. So
Do I see this too?
Yeah, you do.
Do I see that?
Yeah, and everyone does. It's some people have started to scatter where it's like, I don't want to be involved, but others have started to kind of form a circle around. It's it's like people are rubbernecking, pulling out their phones, gonna upload this to YouTube. Can't wait to get those video likes.
Terry has got that preacher energy, and he's getting.
So
He's got that-
before that happens, if I'm allowed to, I would like to specify that after I finish talking to Terry, I kind of like look at him, like intentionally look at him, like to memorize whoever he is before I walk off, right? And then I head towards whatever's happening with this fight.
Okay.
That just happens eventually. Like I'm not trying to run towards it. It just kind of occurs in front of me.
Okay. Kind of just making your way over to see what's going on. Is this a domestic dispute, or is someone getting robbed kind of thing?
And not that I'm gonna help, but
No, that's fine. You don't have to help. Does anyone else, like, I should say, does anyone intend to get involved with what's going on?
Yes,
you don't have to
immediately.
Okay.
I'm picking up things, so
if
I'm a
it's
little
Freddy, I'm gonna
preoccupied.
laugh.
Okay. Who actually makes their way to watch it? Who gets involved, and who just kind of stays back, minding their own business?
Stand
The fact
back.
that this woman seems a little off, I'm going to walk up and observe.
Okay. So
Once Terry gets over there, I'm going to kind of go stand right next to them so I can get a good look.
so
Terry's
Morgana's-
getting properly involved.
All right, Morgana's observing. What about you, Gilliard?
No.
No, you're observing or not observing?
I'm observing, and
Okay.
if it's Freddy, I'm laughing at him. That's what you get.
Freddy, you said you're just minding your own business?
No, I'm collecting the things I accidentally made Morgana drop. I mean, I'm not an
Okay.
asshole.
And 20 minutes to pick up all that stuff? You suck. I'm just joking.
Well, I'm
Just
just
say
saying.
it's already
spiders
done.
are spiders, man. They went everywhere, and I got to.
That's true. That's true. Find a couple squished one. You're trying to CPR it back.
Oh, I would. Come on, little guy, you could make it.
Terry's gonna get involved, and Mike, you're just
Mike.
Mike is antagonizing Terry.
Mike's having the time of his death.
So Terry pushes his way through the crowd to try and find out what's going on and break things up, and Mike's just kind of standing in the crowd, peeking over everyone's shoulder, going, "Hit him! Hit him!"
Classic Mike.
Fortunately, very few people hear that.
So Terry, as you make your way up to the fight that's happening, you hear the guy saying, "Get off me, you bitch!" And she's pushing back, and her words are kind of slurred, and you hear her kind of hiss at him, saying, "Give me the box."
How well do I, Terry, interpret the situation going on here? Because it's a little unusual to see what seems like a little old lady fighting a middle-aged guy in the streets.
Is it that unusual in New Orleans?
Nothing's unusual.
It's still a little strange to Terry. You got to remember, he
That's
only
true.
just got here.
So it's particularly unusual that this woman who has 20 years on this well-built man is overpowering him. Go ahead and do you want to kind of observe and assess the situation before getting involved, or do you just want to hurry in?
I'm moving in relatively fast, so if you make me roll for it, keep in mind I'm going to spend 2 seconds at best to assess it.
No, that's good. I'm just trying to, you're not going in and just sucker punching the woman, are you?
No, God, no, that's not Terry. He's going in, he's going, whoa, now, come on. I'm sure it's not that bad. And he's physically going to try and separate them if he can.
Do you get yourself kind of try and push in between them?
Oh, yes. Yes,
Okay.
that's Terry right there.
Okay. Give me 1 second.
Just standing there watching.
If I hear the screaming, I will head over towards Morgana to make sure, things are copacetic. I need my hideout to always be available.
Do me a favor and roll 4 fate dice. Because she just turns around, and as she's trying to get the box, she's going, all right, so she actually swings at you with just lightning-like speed. You barely see the fist coming, and it's just by the grace of God that Mike in the crowd says something just so off the cuff, you kind of turn around to glance at him, and the fist just blurs past your face. And you can actually feel the air from the speed of the punch just blow against you.
This sort of thing happens to Terry a lot. He's a lucky guy.
You want me to tap in? Duke's up.
I sort of move with that turn I was doing that took my head out of the line of the punch and step back 2 paces very nicely. I say, hey, no cause for that. I'm sure it doesn't matter that much. You don't need that.
What you notice is as she throws the punch and she reels back, she kind of bares her teeth at you, and you see all of these yellow, chipped, sharp fangs all throughout her mouth. And she just kind of ignores you, and at this point, she's increasing the effort now that people are starting to get involved to try and get the box. The man actually goes and kind of tries to shove her away, and as he shoves, she goes and grabs his hand, puts him in this obscure arm lock to where he can't really get out of it, reaches behind her back, pulls something from her belt, and just kind of punches him or stabs him in the neck. And within seconds, his body just goes limp and falls to the ground. He drops the metal case against the ground. A small piece of it breaks off. She grabs the case and jets down an alley adjacent to the auction house.
Can I trip her?
You can give it a go. Roll 4 fate dice.
Oh no, here we go. Time for all those ones I was looking for.
Oh, that's
Hey.
good.
All right.
But as you go to trip her, she actually, out of the corner of her eye, sees you making a move towards her. She does this football-like spin in the blink of an eye, works her way around you, and
I don't really wanna
increases her
move. I
pace.
just want to like stick my foot out.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm not gonna work too hard for it, but
she avoids it.
All right.
Morgana,
Yeah.
should I shoot her?
Sorry.
Oh, no, Freddy. I won't get involved with this one.
I have a
You just
one in
wing her.
haste. I'm trying to play that.
Gonna open
wouldn't
fire in
like-
the crowd.
Oh, no.
I wouldn't
I
have
attempt
the
to
ability
render
move fast enough
medical
to actually
aid
trip her,
to the
like,
probably
physically.
die.
I could stick a foot out though. That's probably about all I could do.
So you're gonna check on the guy who fell to the ground.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so as you approach him, you hear him wheezing and gasping for air. Just he's completely can't move his body at all, but you kind of see his eyes just kind of jetting around, shooting around the kind of the scene and just trying to breathe.
I am kneeling beside the thing that Mike is talking about. I have not grabbed it yet. I'm not paying him too much attention just yet. I'm not sure how good Terry's medical knowledge would be, honestly. Would he recognize that this man might be, like, in a state of paralysis right now?
You can
Here,
I check his
definitely.
neck.
Here, Terry,
So-
I got this. I got this. I'm gonna lean down in front of him, like nose to nose, and be like, "Are you dying?"
As you actually do that, his eyes go wide. Like he acknowledges you're there, which is a little off-putting to you because you're not used to people other than Terry interacting with you. And you actually see his eyes just kind of jetting towards the messenger. Like, so he's laying on the ground and his eyes are just like glancing down, like he's trying to tell you something as he's looking down on his body, trying to look down on his body.
Hey, Derek,
Terry, grab his bag.
I try to palm the item that fell.
Okay.
Grab his
I
bag.
move his bag up towards my feet, but I'm checking his neck first to see if he's bleeding out or has been stabbed or something.
While you're searching him, Shewn, do me a favor, roll a guile check. I just want to see if you pick this up without anyone noticing.
That'd be a
Okay.
no.
Well, you never know. Just kind of depends who else happened to be looking.
Well, I was nearby. It was by my feet.
I mean, probably me.
Everyone
you would've
roll.
definitely seen me
Everyone
walk
roll me 4 fate dice. I just want to see who in the group notices him palm this. Definitely not
Not
Terry.
Terry.
He's too focused on.
Hannah does.
All right. Mike does.
Mike does.
right.
Everybody does except for
So
Terry.
everyone except Terry, which makes sense because Terry's focused on this guy who he thinks dying in his arms. It's
Freddy?
been not Freddy. No,
Mhm.
Terry. I'm sorry, you're talking to him about
What are you
palming
doing
shit.
here, dude?
Going from here to there. Things, stuff that I slowly put in my pocket.
That guy just
Casually.
stole the
All
piece,
right.
Terry.
I saw you, but I'm fine with it.
That guy just stole the
I
piece,
know.
Terry.
Still
That's a
ignoring
free
Mike.
guile, folks.
So, for those of, are you actually looking at what you palmed, Shewn, or are you gonna kind of wait?
I'm walking by Morgana and then dropping it in her pocket as I walk by.
Okay.
Do I need to roll again? Because I'm going to try and be stealthy about it.
Yeah, roll guile for me.
This is not my forte, people.
Might be good enough.
It is tonight.
Morgana, why don't you go ahead and roll 4 fate for me? See if you kind of notice.
All right.
Yeah, you slipping into her bag with her ingredients. So what ends up happening, Terry, as you're searching the body, do me a favor, roll focus.
There you are.
Oh, just good enough. You actually notice, you don't know what it's from or why it's there, but right on the kind of the base of his neck, you see a small puncture wound that is kind of red and irritated around it. And you can tell that or at least you assume he's been stabbed and injected with some type of chemical. It looks like a syringe hole. But as you're actually pulling the scarf off of his neck to check on the puncture hole, you actually notice there's a brand kind of right where that knob of your spine is on the back of your neck.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a brand there, and I'm going to go ahead and post in Discord what the brand looks like.
So I feel like it's appropriate at this point to lean in behind Terry and go, "What you looking at?"
Oh no.
Classic.
Classic Mike. I say, oh, you know, puncture wound, brand,
Stick your
possibly
finger in
dying
it.
guy.
Stick your finger in it.
Morgana. Who's he talking to?
Stick your finger in it. You gotta cinch
Is the guy's condition worsening as I examine him?
So Freddy just asked me who he's talking to. Would I be able to sense Mike's presence at all?
Or would I?
Depends. Mike, are you trying to be seen by anyone?
No.
No, you wouldn't notice then. The ectomancy is kind of a specialty in magic, so unless you had past experience in it, you really wouldn't pick up on anything.
Yeah, Morgana probably wouldn't.
Bet you a nice open third eye would spot him.
Probably.
Bet
Third
you're not
eye
using
would
it
if
right
anyone
now.
wants to open theirs.
Terry.
Please let me know if you want to use your third eye.
Terry,
Yes, Mike.
stick your finger in it. You gotta cinch the flow of stuff.
It's way too small. How's the patient's condition?
I asked him if he was dying. He didn't answer. He just looked at his bag. Did you get the bag?
The bag is by my feet, Mike.
You should pick it up. Pick it up, because that dude stole the piece that was on the ground.
It's fine, Mike. If he lives, I'm sure he'll want it back.
No, he's dead. It's over. He's gone, man. Just give it up. Give it up. He's gone. He's going to be floating around here with me any minute. Just get the bag and let's get out of here.
What's going on, Freddy?
I don't know.
But
I think the
do-
guy might be crazy.
Do you want me to drive? You want me? I'll take over. I'll do it. I know you get kind of weird about this stuff. I'll do it. Just let me drive.
This dude is
Oh
weird.
dear game master.
Yeah.
How is the paralyzed man doing? Is his condition worsening? Is he still breathing?
So you're ignoring Mike at this point.
Yes, Terry has been doing so, but like I feel it's rude to ignore him for too long. Terry is trying to do things actively.
So the man's condition is worsening. The gasping is actually becoming shorter and quicker. Like he's gonna asphyxiate, I think is the correct word, soon.
Okay, has anybody in the crowd called an ambulance?
I was gonna ask what century this is to see if I could do that casually while I'm watching this go down.
It is currently 2020. It's Bubba Walters. Yeah, it's 2020. Everyone has cell phones, and this is modern day.
All right.
So if anyone wants to call the cops,
Yeah,
I
why
have a-
not?
I've got
I'll
a
call an ambulance.
ghostly Nokia soapbox phone.
It glows quite nicely, and it still plays Snake.
so, all right. So Juilliard's calling the police. So you call the police. You give them the current location. What do you tell the 911 operator just transpired?
There was a fight. An old lady stabbed a dude. He's gasping. He needs help.
Is he bleeding?
I don't know.
Is
I'm not over there.
But you are from New Orleans.
all right.
Bloodborne illnesses are a real thing, man. I'm not touching him.
So I would. Is the lady still there?
No, she ran off with a box. So
She ran off with a box. Like
someone's been stabbed in the neck, and you're asking me about a lady with a box.
well, yeah. I mean, what?
The person who stabbed him isn't here now, but he
So
does
this
need help.
So this was a robbery, or she killed him with a box, or tried to kill
I
him with a
don't know.
box. All right. Well,
She stabbed him with something pointy. I don't know the
Okay.
details. I'm way over here.
all right. Can we get your name and number to just contact you when the officer arrives on site?
I hang up.
Not like
Oh
we
my
already have, like,
God.
cold.
It's too tedious. My 3 and guile can't handle it.
So,
Ugh.
Mike or Terry, the guy's dying.
We outsourced the ambulance to India too.
Ah,
I told you this was going to happen. Just saying.
you were right, Mike. I was hoping you were wrong.
Pick the bag up,
Damn.
Terry. Come on.
Not my bag.
Yeah, but it's not his anymore either.
That's fair enough. But why do you want the bag, man?
Because, Terry, you have to eat. Because if you don't eat and you die, then we're both stuck in this situation. And I'm not sure I could handle that.
Mike, I shall be sustained by the grace of God
Yeah,
and a couple of nice handouts from McDonald's. You just got to stand around the back door long enough.
look, not to get tedious about this, but I was sustained by the grace of your God too, and look where it got me. Pick up the bag.
You've guilted him into it now, actually. That's a really effective lever on Terry.
Oh yeah, no, I know the button.
So you start searching through the
Fine.
dying man's bag.
No, he's dead, right? He's proper dead. Heart stopped. Terry's checking.
Yeah, with how much you were talking to yourself, yeah, he's transpired in your lap.
I stand up like the bag was always mine and walk off.
You don't even say a prayer for the dead guy? Some preacher you are.
He's an odd preacher.
All right. So you just pick up the bag and you work your way into the crowd. So as you're actually working your way into the crowd, the police actually start to show up. There's multiple of them because they didn't really get a lot of details. So there's like 4 squad cars, there's an ambulance, there's a fire truck, a couple of squads at both ends of the block are kind of locking things down. They're starting to corral everyone who's at the scene. A portly police officer actually makes his way through. Some officers kind of start setting up some tape. A detective appears to be. They've actually corralled everyone.
Well,
You can try and sneak off if you like.
I could sneak off, but I won't.
Okay. No, that's right. You could. So They actually are checking on the body, and you see the portly officer kind of call into the his radio, letting him know they're gonna need the morgue to send out a mortician for doing an autopsy. I'm assuming a mortician does autopsy. I can't think of the correct word at the moment.
Coroner.
Coroner. Yes, thank you. So with that, he actually starts working his way through the crowd, and as a detective arrives, he actually starts interviewing everyone. He actually first makes his way. There's 5 of you. Let me see who he talks to first.
Well, probably shouldn't count one of us.
That's fair.
It increases his odds of talking to Terry. He actually makes his way to Gillard first.
Gelato? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, Gillard.
He saw the store and he
Just
was just
kidding.
too tempted.
Just getting more and more wrong with every time you say his
Is
name.
it not
something
Gillard?
else.
What's the
It
name?
is Gillard. Yeah, you got it. You said Gilliard earlier, and I was like, well, all right, we'll roll with that too.
Anyways.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. Did you kind of see what happened here?
Nope.
Not at all. And you
Oh my god.
you see the person kind of standing next to you said that you were here the entire time, and they were pretty sure you're the one who called the cops.
What?
So you're saying you're not the one who called the police?
I'm saying I didn't see what happened. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about a dead body that's about 20 feet in front of you, and you didn't see anything?
I mean, I was kind of on Facebook, so
Now they know you're lying.
He kind of eyes you suspiciously, pulls a card out of his from kind of the back of his notebook, which he's been jotting down notes, and hands you the card and says, "Can I get your name, ma'am, or sir? Sorry."
if he actually made that mistake, oh boy.
No, he didn't make that mistake. I made that mistake. Bad GM.
I like to assume that the character portrait you've selected is accurate, which makes it even fun.
Great, yeah. All right, my dude. I'll write it down for you.
Do you give him your real name?
Of course not.
Okay.
Check my ID right now.
Do
No,
you
he's
even give
not.
him one of your actual aliases?
Yeah.
I give him the most positive and wholesome alias that I have.
What's
Just
the alias? I want to know.
One that donates to the Policeman's Guild and does all sorts of good work in the community, allegedly.
Uh,
I had to actually think of a name.
yeah. Give me a name.
We'll say Thomas Jacobs.
Thomas Jacobs. All right. Well, Mr. Jacobs, I appreciate your time. Are you laughing? Like you're talking to the cop. You're like, my name's Thomas Jacobs.
Like, not ready with an alias
Okay.
for a character who clearly needs a list of aliases. Like, never before in the history of a character development have I been caught out in the cold this hard. Like, I can't believe it.
Do me
You
a
know me.
favor.
Normally, I would have a list, right? Like 10 names already
have
written
only
down,
failed
but for
yourself.
some reason,
So go ahead.
This is why it's more like improv, really.
Yeah, it is. Do me a favor. Roll to see how convincing you are with an alias. Like you
Is
pick.
that Guile?
I mean,
is that Guile?
it's
Yeah, Guile.
it'd be Guile or Flair. it depends on how you go about it.
I'm not being fancy with it. I'm
Like,
not.
if you want to sucker punch him while you could use force, but I wouldn't encourage sucker punching the cop.
Oh, do it.
No walls.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like. Does he want me to write it down, or is he writing it?
No, yeah, he's gonna write down the name you gave him.
Okay, so since this is one of my aliases, I've clearly practiced how to spell this name, right?
Yeah.
So I would say my name, first name, last name, and then I would spell my first name, which is Thomas without the H.
Kind of depends on how you roll.
I mean, I'm just saying that's the style of how I'm doing it.
Okay.
We're gonna see how badly this goes. Just a second. Oh, that's a
So you actually convinced the officer.
wow. Okay, well.
So
all right.
do you kind of start? Do you, like, after that, do you leave or do you kind of stick around?
I'm just gonna look over at where I saw Freddy a second ago and kind of shuffle backwards, closer and closer to the tape, and then just kind of try to slip off into the distance like I was never there.
Okay.
And whatever snitch is standing next to me is getting as far away from me as possible.
So as you work your way towards Freddy, you actually notice one of the cops who's kind of keeping the crowd back kind of shoot a glance over your way, kind of like he recognizes you. That being said, the officer now makes his way over to Morgana. Morgana, where were you at? Were you next to Freddy?
Yeah, I'm next to Freddy.
Oh,
okay.
I'm still there then.
I'm
still there. It's fine.
Okay.
So he works his way over to you, pulls out his pad, says, "Ma'am, I appreciate your time. We're looking to get everyone out of here as quick as possible. Your cooperation would be appreciated. What could you tell me about what transpired here?"
It was a strange altercation, officer. I just saw this woman looked to be about in her 60s, gray hair, had some really odd look about her, and I saw her like sucker punch this man, nearly take him out. Then like it was all a blur, as far as I can tell. And I remember this woman appearing to, I guess, stab him in the neck, and then she ran down an alleyway with a box.
Did you by chance see what she stabbed him with?
No, can't say that I did.
All right. Do you know what caused the altercation?
No, I walked up to the scene as it was going on.
I appreciate it. Did you film the recording? I know we've got a number of people who have provided us with their video footage. It's unfortunately already been uploaded to YouTube. Can't keep anything private these days, but we're trying to get everyone's different angles. Did you happen to catch any of it?
I didn't.
All right, I appreciate it. That he turns to Freddy. As he turns to Freddy, he kind of notices that Jallard is there and kind of jumps back like, Jesus, what came out of nowhere? Sir, I appreciate your time. I just want to get everyone out of here. Can you tell me what you saw occur here?
Everything she saw, about half as much since I was picking up stuff off the ground.
What were you picking up off the ground?
I accidentally ran into her, so her wares were all over the ground, so I had to pick them up, and there was a commotion, and so I went over after the fact, and the guy was on the ground, and people ran off, and things fell, and that guy ran over there and sat next to the guy, and that's all I know.
Which guy sat next to the guy?
I point directly at the preacher.
So he looks over at Terry and kind of makes some notes in his notebook and makes his
I'm
way
not,
over
I'm
to.
not coy at all. I'm like
That guy.
that guy right there.
So he looks at both and he says, "I appreciate both your time." He hands you both a card. Ask if you'd be willing to give your name and phone number for a witness statement in case they have any follow-up questions.
I'm just in town for a few days.
The expectant pause.
What about you, Morgana? You willing to give your name and number?
Not really, no. She's not really much of a troublemaker, but she keeps pretty busy
Okay.
with other things.
So with that, he works his way over to Terry. Excuse me, sir. Can I have a moment of your time?
Of course, and I glance at his lapel to check his name.
Name's Officer McCarthy.
Of course, Officer McCarthy. Of course.
Well, I'll make this brief. Can you kind of tell me what you saw transpired here tonight?
Well, I was across the street, other side, giving a sermon, and saw some kind of commotion going on over here. It seemed like a fight had broken out. Usually, it's best not to have those.
What do you mean you were giving a sermon?
Standing right over there. I've left my soapbox. It's an antique, you know. Just preaching the word of God.
Oh, you're one of those.
You have to have a license for that. Close your mouth.
You kind of you pick up disdain in his tone, like we got a winner. And he's kind of scribbling notes on his pad and asks you, so what? Someone told me that they saw you with the body.
Yeah, I came right over here. I tried to stop him, but the old lady that was after him, she was a fierce one. She was a fierce one. I was lucky, honestly. She took a swing at me.
So you got a good look at her.
Pretty good look. I was right up there on him.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, most of the people around here are pretty tight-lipped. Would you be willing to meet with one of our sketch artists and kind of give a description of what she looked like? It'd be a huge help.
That doesn't sound like too much of an issue.
No, it's not. I promise. It won't take too much of your time. Could I get your name and number? Or we can arrange a time that's convenient for you. It'd probably be tomorrow, and it's late. No one wants to be sticking around tonight.
I look over at Mike if Mike's saying anything.
Give him my name.
Wow.
I glance at Mike and glance back, and then I say, well, I don't quite have an address here in town yet. I've only just arrived, but you give me a time and I can show up, I'm sure.
All right, I'll call back to the station. We'll get a time that actually works out when our sketch artist is available. Could you tell me anything else? Was someone mentioned that a box was stolen? Could you make out anything unique about the box?
Sure. So, I give him the best description of the box I can. I tell him that it seemed like he was just kind of making his way around with it, and she came up and tried to take it from him. And I mentioned that, he went down when she appeared to stab him in the neck with something. He's got a little injection wound, and he died fast.
All right, I appreciate it. With that, he steps away. He interviews some more people. He comes back to you a moment later, hands you his business card that has name, number on it. And on the back, he wrote down 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, which is the time he'd like you to come down to the police station to meet with a sketch artist.
Okay. That's quite all right with Terry.
All right. With that, he goes around. They continue to interview other people. They're going to let everyone kind of go home and disperse for the day. At that point, we can take a break if everyone's open to it.
I think a break is fine. I could use to make myself a drink.
All good.
All right, cool. Go ahead and switch things up, and we'll be back in a few.
Ooh, transition.
Working on it.
You're infuriating.
So I'm glad you two could meet.
So you're quite the hothead, aren't you?
I can't stand you. Why do I hang around you so much? I don't understand it.
Because I'm good at it.
Well, you don't have to hang around if you don't want to. I got a shop to run.
I roll my eyes. Oh.
So do you invite them into your shop, or do you just kind of thank them and boot them?
I mean, Freddy's like always hanging around my shop in cat form, so I'll let him come in. I'll let the both of them come in because it's just like, I mean, I'm just so used to it, anyways.
Okay. So describe your shop to me. Like when Gillard, who's may have never been there before, what does he see when he walks into your shop?
Well, he at first sees like a shop with a wooden sign above it, with really nice scroll work, kind of decorating the edges, called Big Easy Enchantments, basically. And you walk in, and it's basically a mostly sort of like wood paneled room, basically, with wooden shelves. There are like books on witchcraft, Wicca, various like occult dealings, like lining the walls in one section. In other sections, you'll find like pretty common like uh, items for like use in magic rituals, like salt, black salt that's already prepared, lavender, candles, maybe different like spice blends that Morgana made herself, to be used in rituals of a certain kind. And then behind sort of like this wooden counter where she handles all transactions with like her little iPad and a little, square for people to, swipe their cards or what have you. You see a bunch of like really odd trinkets, and then and maybe some things that aren't quite recognizable, like little things that she's made herself that she advertises as having like certain magical effects, like voodoo dolls. A couple more curious things, like there's a pot that she labeled like a mandrake and to not touch, like ever, basically.
Okay, I like that. So
Should warn you though.
It smells like incense in there, basically.
As a magical practitioner who regularly hosts other magical practitioners, there is very low chance an iPad would work in your.
True. Yeah, true.
She's got a big technology budget. All right. So, Gillard, what's your impressions of walking in? Like, how do you feel about the arcane? Do you feel like this is like one of these people, or are you a
It's
believer?
a very witchy shop with some like beaded curtains and like glass, like glass orbs and such hanging from the ceiling, tapestries, plants.
So, would you say Gillard is in the know or a non-believer?
I mean, he's aware of it, for as much as it can suit his
Like, he's aware of it that
beliefs.
people believe in it, or does he believe in it?
He believes in it when it suits him.
That
So
is
he
a very
doesn't
strange
really
sentence.
believe in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's kind of like being pregnant.
I'm pregnant when I want to.
Yeah, he vaguely. He doesn't set like
So he
great
believes.
store by it. Like some people have superstitions
Yeah.
and they throw salt over their shoulder and they always do XYZ. You got to have things in a certain order and you can't do this and you can't leave the house without your rabbit's foot and yada yada. He's not that obsessive about it. He's not obsessive about anything.
So it's like he may
yeah.
believe in ghosts, but he doesn't like necessarily buy into all the exorcisms and stuff that people talk about.
No, people have demons, but you don't tie them to a bed and say that the power of Christ compels you. I mean, that's not gonna help you. Demons
You've
are
met a
demons,
man
you
who
know. Really,
How,
like
and then from a religious standpoint, I think from when you were describing your interaction with Terry, Jalard's not a very religious man.
he has faith in himself, if that's what you mean.
Okay. Does he believe in a
Solipsism
higher
is a
power?
religion, kinda.
He believes in one and or several.
Okay. All right, no, that's good. So, what's your impressions when you walk into Morgana's shop?
Pretty standard. Looking around for the eye of Newt. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't know what I was
There's gotta
expecting to
be
see.
eye of Newt.
I thought there was going to be something
Do,
creepier around
do you
here.
ask Morgana if she has what she has in
Okay.
stock? Like, you go
No,
around and
I'm
point
not
to each jar
shopping at this
asking
point.
what's this do?
No, I'm not. I'm not annoying. I'm just observing everything.
Okay.
You know,
No, it's all
looking
good.
in, taking the surroundings. You know, because I know Freddy hangs around here a lot, but I've never actually been in here.
All right. So
Not planning on staying long.
we're gonna jump over to Terry and Mike. What are you two up to?
We were cutting it up in the chat.
Why don't you high level recap? What are you guys going?
We can roll it out again for the benefit of our viewers at home.
Yeah, that works.
All right.
Hit it, Mike.
So let's find a shop doorway or something for you to get some sleep in, Terry. And don't worry, I'll totally keep an eye on you while you're sleeping to make sure nobody sullies your virtue while you're sleeping.
Oh, come on, Mike. I've still got enough left for that hotel. You remember with the other ghosts and the cockroaches and the cockroach ghost.
I don't like roaches though, Terry. They creep me out.
The living ones or the ghost ones?
I don't know. Both? You know they poop on you while you're sleeping, right?
Just the living ones. It's a small price to pay.
Small price. Get it? They keep a small price. Get it? I just roll around in midair, cracking up at my own joke.
So
that catches you up with Terry and Mike.
So Terry, I think you mentioned you're gonna kind of go through the bag at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna get back to the cheapest, seediest flea bag motel in town, which I can afford, and nothing more. And then once there, we would check.
I have to ask, this is a very serious question and extremely important to the plot of the story. Do you get a room that has the vibrating bed?
Yes.
This being New Orleans, I imagine all of the non-vibrating bedrooms are booked.
It's very possible.
They would be a small proportion of what's available.
I might spend a point to kick that off while he's sleeping.
So, all right. So you start digging through the bag. Let me pull up my notes for what's in his bag. So you kind of go over to this dingy table that's right next to this old CRT tube TV that's sitting on a dresser across from the bed. As you're kind of emptying the contents of the bag out on the table, you kind of hear the bed vibrating going off in the background. You kind of can glance back, and Mike's just kicked back with his hands behind his head on it.
You feel that, Mike?
Yeah.
So
I'm glad they really are the magic fingers.
Terry, you know what I can do when the bed's doing this?
Do tell me, Mike. Mike, I can't help but think you can do that all the time.
Hey, look, the table over there. You see all the cockroach carcasses on it?
There were only 2.
Yeah, but
that's
you know what that
good
means?
Rate.
Cockroaches eat their dead. That means the roaches won't even come here to eat.
Continue, please.
All right, so you dump the contents of the bag out onto the table. You start rummaging through it. You notice there's a notebook, what do they call them? MacBook Pros? Is that what they're called now? I hate Apple,
Ooh,
so
yes.
unless Apple wants to give us free shit, then I love you, Apple.
Not a
So-
sponsor.
Yeah. So you have
Yet.
a MacBook Pro that jumps out. There's an iPad that dumps onto the table. There's a paperback book, oddly enough, that kind of scatters across the table, half open. And you look at it, and the front of the cover says The Iron Druid Chronicles. And then there's a small tin container that kind of clangs against the table.
I'm gonna try and turn on the iPad and fail miserably.
As he's poking a finger through the sleep button, I'll look at the tin. If it's not locked or anything, if it's just a simple tin,
Yeah.
I might.
It's like I guess for a lack of better description, it's like an Altoids container, but nicer.
Probably drugs.
A bit better.
It's probably drugs. Terry.
It's got some fine etch work around the edges, but it's got a loose clasp on it that you can open the container for.
It's probably
I would
drugs.
do so.
It's drugs, Terry. It's probably drugs.
Oddly enough, when
Why
you
would you
open it,
booby trap your own drug?
I don't
it
know.
is not. It is not drugs.
I never had a chance to do drugs, Terry.
Terry goes quiet.
You find inside the container there's this loose like blue velvet cloth that's tucked inside the container. Do you choose to pull the cloth out?
Oh, sure.
As you pull the cloth out, you feel a hard object wrapped inside the cloth. Mine's out of the gutter, people. Wrapped inside this cloth is a small copper skeleton key. And as you look at the key closer, you actually notice kind of in the neck of the skeleton key, there's kind of a glass vial. And there's appears to be this kind of thick liquid substance that kind of flows back and forth through this glass vial.
I think I'm gonna lean over behind him and go, "What you got there?"
Mike, I gotta tell you, I don't know. If it's drugs, this is the fanciest way to store it I've ever seen.
What the hell is that?
I hold it up so that he can see it a little bit better. And I peer close to the liquid in the vial portion of the key.
Do I see anything out of the ordinary?
No, I mean it's
Not that I ever worked in
it's
or anything.
it's a clear tube, and it looks like it's a thick silvery substance that it's like you can make it out. You're old enough to where you've used the old thermostats. It's mercury inside this vial.
I have a feeling that you're gonna regret stealing that bag off a dead guy.
Now, Mike, didn't steal a bag off of a dead guy. I'm going to take the bag right in with me tomorrow.
Oh,
Except
no.
maybe this piece. I'm going to have to pray on this piece. He holds it up.
Terry,
I
I mean,
feel like that might be important.
the thermometer key or whatever you got there is cool and all, but dude, MacBook, let's go sell this and get a nice room. I deserve to stay at a Hilton. Look at me.
I look at you and I say, Mike, you know they don't have the magic fingers at the Hilton.
I got your magic fingers right here.
You're gonna give up this, and I gesture at a barely vibrating bed.
You know, I'm dead, and I think I caught something off that bed.
All right, so we're gonna
Don't worry, Mike. Our luck's gonna turn around.
So with that, we're gonna fast forward back to Morgana's shop.
Hey, Morgana. Check your bag.
Yes, Freddy.
Check your bag.
All right, let me go set this stuff down in the back, and I'll check my bag. I I part through a beaded curtain in the back where I have like sort of my ritual space set up, and
Okay.
I'm dropping off a lot of the magical ingredients like out of the bag, and then I'm searching for like whatever like Freddy said to look for, basically.
So as you kind of separate everything you purchased from what you didn't, you actually find there's this small, I'd say like a 4-inch copper emblem that looks like it might have been kind of soldered onto another piece of metal that had broken off when it got dropped. And I'm gonna share in Discord what that emblem looks like for you.
Maybe bring up Discord.
Yeah, you should.
All right.
Well, only if you want to see what's going on, at least. Are you in the other room?
I mean, I didn't follow her.
Are you in cat form?
No, not at the moment. There's
So
somebody around keeping me from doing it.
at this point, only Morgana sees this.
Mm.
So
So-
it's a copper kind of, it's a piece of copper in that shape.
Okay. So I'm gonna finish sitting the rest of my stuff down, and I'm going to like hold it in my hand and sort of flip it back and forth, like eyeing it. And then I'm gonna walk out from the back and walk up to the counter, basically where I sell stuff from, and I'm going to or make transactions as of and then I'm going to lean on the counter, like lean forward, like still eyeing the metal piece. I'm like, Freddy, is this that piece that chipped off of the box that I saw you palming earlier?
Just gonna look at her and wink.
I turn from looking out the window and sort of watch this conversation happen.
And she's going to click and nod her head at Freddy. Yeah. You reckon you have any idea what this might be?
I walk over to look at it.
All
I
right.
mean, I'm
You
sure it's
see
in
it.
one of your books here.
Yeah. Question though, would I have recognized it? Because Morgana's pretty like she's at
Over.
least in tune, like somewhat with the goings on in the Never Never, where she can like point people.
You don't exactly know what it is, but you recognize it, and you feel like you've seen this in your studies of alchemy.
Huh. So I'm actually going to pull down one of like, because I would, personally I would assume that I would have like a book on alchemy, like, somewhere in that
Mhm.
reference material that I sell in the shop. So I'm going to pull down a book on alchemy, and I'm going to look up different like alchemical symbols. See what's up.
So you flip through a couple of your books, and you find that this is actually a common symbol that's used interchangeably for it represents sulfur, soul, consciousness, oil.
I'm tired of looking out the window, so I'm just gonna start looking around and like pulling random books off the shelf and glancing inside them.
Fantastic. Please roll fate dice. No, I'm
Oh,
joking.
no!
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I
You
don't,
need
I
to.
don't have any expert knowledge, so I'm not gonna go over there to look at the symbol because I'm
Depends.
not gonna know what it is.
Depends. Do you have any spell books in your shop, Morgana?
I'm going to say yes.
No, she
But it
would, but
probably
you,
wouldn't be out front.
yeah, no,
She
and
left a mandrake out on the shelf
sh-
with
you-
a
you ha-
sign.
you have to have some sense of belief and skill in magic to use it. So no, I won't set you up for that.
Okay, great.
That's a living
I'm
mandrake in
just
there.
browsing. I'm just browsing. I'm not touching the mandrake. I'm just looking at the books. Like,
A mandrake's on the highest shelf. Ain't no one can touch that.
I can't.
I'm pretty tall, but
I go kitty,
Probably
I
not.
can't.
all right.
How tall are you? Morgana's 6'5".
Oh, I'm
You-
not that tall.
As you pull a book off the shelf and you start flipping through it, you find this is a book that actually starts to talk about the Unseelia chords. It's a very dry, and it reads kind of like, I guess the closest thing I could read compare it to would be the Declaration of Independence.
All the sections have got like 3 triplet digit indexes,
Yes.
so you can come look them up later.
You, thou, we, thus.
That's entertaining stuff, man.
It's critical
Yeah,
stuff for
I'll
one
read
such
it.
as you.
I'll read it for a while, just to kind of look at it. But after a while of the old English, I'm gonna put it back and find something else.
Old English, half that was in Latin.
Yeah, no, I don't. I definitely don't have Latin as a language. As small as this character sheet is, I don't even need to wonder.
See if I can actually find the file for it. I actually had the Unseelia chords that someone had actually written up.
Yeah, I can move
Oh,
on. I'm not
that's
gonna.
silly.
I don't know what I'm looking at anyway, so it's kind of.
The gist of what you can make out from the Unseelia chords is that a lot of fake mystical people got together and agreed to terms that were essentially a peace treaty with a lot of very fine details that were upheld to the letter of the law.
If the devil wrote contracts, they'd look a little like this.
Yeah. I'd have to
Well,
go back
great.
and look. The devil might have been involved as one of the parties of the Unseelia Accord.
Damn, you're right.
Yeah, back you go. Have to know when you're out of your depth, you know?
All right. So, anything else you guys want to do? Discuss questions, or do you want to move on to the next phase?
I'm just
Well, I
looking at the
mean-
different books on the shelf. Just
I mean,
Do you
I'm
have any
curious.
sulfur here?
What's that?
Yeah. Do you have any sulfur here?
I mean, I might have some somewhere. I'm just
mean,
curious what in the world the symbol was doing on a box.
I'm sure it probably wasn't the only symbol.
Maybe? I don't know. Did you get a good glance at that box?
I was picking up your stuff.
True. And you just walked up and pocketed this little piece.
I mean, well, it was laying there. Nobody was touching it. And actually, I didn't pocket it. I put it in your pockets.
I mean, fair.
He liberated it.
Yes, it was just going to get destroyed sitting there on the street.
Gee, did you get a good look at that box?
G.
I can hear
The
the
disdain.
fuming.
As they come around. Yeah, I know. It's great. Hey, G, put down the box. Put down the book. Come on. We're having a conversation over here.
I know
The
you were even interested in that
fume.
boring old stuff.
You can hear the deep, heartfelt sigh.
Mhm. Mhm. G.
I'm shooting daggers at what Morgana,
She just
and I'm
says,
like,
"Be good
my
on me."
name, my name is Gillard.
Yeah,
But I don't
G.
correct. I want it noted that I don't correct Freddy. He can
All
call me
right.
G, but you can't call me G. You don't know me, okay?
Ooh, like
You don't
that.
know me.
He's irritating on a different level.
I mean, that's fine. I just didn't know what else to call you previously.
Come on, G.
Call me,
Relax.
call me by one of my fake names.
So I'd only heard him address you. But all right, Gillard, what'd you see? Did you see anything about that box? What it looked like or anything?
Nope. Didn't see anything. I was doing something else. My mind was elsewhere. So
G fibs a lot, just so you know.
yeah, oh well. Whoops.
All right. So we're gonna fast forward to the morning. Uh, did did you? I'm assuming you headed home, Gillard,
Yeah, I
or
might
did you
as
stay the
well.
night at the shop?
And before I leave, I'm gonna be like, all right, goodbye, you nuisance. See you later.
Oh, you won't see me there by morning. All you'll see is a cat laying around.
All right.
I don't know
So
if I know that. I guess I would know that, right?
Oh no, and only one person really knows that's me.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a secret at the moment.
I'm not
so
waiting for a response. I'm
reasons.
just heading out the door.
the next morning, Terry makes his way to the police station. What do you take with you to the police station, Terry?
So the MacBook and the iPad are back in the bag.
Let's leave the bag here,
The-
Terry.
They're back in the bag, and I have the bag.
Let's leave the bag
little
here,
tin
Terry.
box and the key are in like my inside pocket
Okay.
of
Look,
my coat.
You can't pick and choose what you're gonna sin about. You gotta either go all the way or leave it all alone.
Mike, I had to pray about this. We don't need that MacBook. We might need this key.
But we're not gonna keep the MacBook. We're gonna sell it.
You're right. We're not going to keep the MacBook.
Terry, if you starve to death, it's kind of bad for me.
I am a healthy young lad. He pats his admittedly somewhat thin stomach.
you know, ramen noodles are great. Like twice. Like I can hear you gagging when you eat.
Mike, I swear to you, we're going to do this. This is going to go where it should. And then we're going to find a way to make some money. I swear.
If this
And
takes
we'll
a
eat
turn,
right,
if this
and we'll
takes
get
a
a
turn,
better place.
if this takes a turn, Terry, and these cops start getting wonky with you, because remember, we're in the big city now. Big city cops aren't the nicest, trusting, kindly little officers that you're used to. I read about it
Mike,
on
you
TV.
remember what happened last time. You remember what happened last time. It might actually be a little better for us to ingratiate ourselves with the local police before
I'm
we truly set up business.
just saying, if it takes a turn, let me drive.
Actually, Mike, I've been feeling kind of bad. I was going to let you drive regardless, because you know me. I can't do faces. You're a lot better at that. I was going to let you describe them to him, help the sketch artist out a little.
Yeah, you want me to hop in right now? I'll walk you down there.
I think I'll drop the bag off first.
I mean, I got it. Really.
Mike.
While you're doing this, I'm gonna grab a drink. Please continue.
Well, are you sure you want to give this back? Like, they don't even know it's missing.
That man might have had children, Mike.
It's
Maybe
a victimless
he's got his
crime.
personal stuff on. I'm saying there might be some victims.
I don't think his kids want his MacBook Pro.
You want his MacBook Pro. Why
I
wouldn't
know.
they?
I can't even turn the iPad on.
Mike.
Like, there's a guy in like 2 rooms down. I was flitting about last night through the walls, just checking the situation around to make sure you weren't in danger. And I'm sure like he's got a big bag of like crack in his apartment. I bet he would buy them. Just don't trade them for crack.
Wait, you guys are selling drugs
No.
now?
Even
for
Mike
5
is
minutes.
not inclined to enter the drug trade just yet.
No.
There's some contacts I got in New Orleans for you. So, I have to ask, are you standing in the lobby of the police station having this conversation?
I imagine it happened on the walk there.
Okay. All right, just want to make sure. You might be getting some looks. So you arrive to the police station and you actually find there's this tall, like 7'5", blonde-haired, like German dude standing at the front counter, and he looks at you. It's early-ish when you get there because you're an early bird, and he looks at you and, what do you want?
Should I take over?
I look way up at him. Way up, and I say, well, my friend, I have an appointment with a sketch artist.
What's your name?
Terry.
Terry.
I got to go back and check what last name he had since I didn't write.
I don't know off the top of my head either.
These are the good questions. Did I put it on his character?
Feel free, make one up.
Well, you always want to say Kavanaugh, but obviously that's taken. Damn, Brooks is taken too.
How about only? Terry only.
Oh. That would be hilarious, actually, but no. Let's give him a real name.
Terry Foot.
What do you like, Oprah? You're just Terry.
Terry Vanvleet. He can have a really dumb last name, but it's a last name.
So you had mentioned past altercations with the cops. Does that mean you have a police record?
No, fortunately. But the last location we were doing our business, we left town under some the stirrings of a cloud of suspicion, put it like that.
That
Please
sounds good.
give me 1 second. I need to see if you guys have a outstanding felony.
If we do,
arrest
it's
warrant.
probably for public gathering without a permit or something.
You guys are good. So he looks up your name. He's like, all right, sit here. Artist will be with you shortly. And
Can do.
as you're sitting there waiting, you actually see a couple of officers who look like they're just wanting to just get their shift over with because they had the night shift, come dragging in this. Gillard, how would you describe yourself?
Wait, what?
And would you say,
Gillard's gonna have some words here.
are you resisting arrest or are you going along with it?
I think
Did I
Gillard's
miss
gonna want
the
to play
part
that
where
one
they
out.
come to my house and arrest me on my property without my lawyer?
Uh-oh.
You can request a lawyer. Does not mean you get a lawyer between the house where you're arrested and brought into the police station.
Excuse
They
you,
just
have you
can't
forgotten that
question
I'm
you.
rich and I know my rights?
You
I
have
don't
the
even
right.
answer my own door. They gotta find me.
They found you.
This is the local fixer. They probably know who Gillard is. They might know it's not a good idea.
You have to remember, you failed your fate roll when it came to giving a fake name, and giving a fake name to a police officer
does not endear them to you, at least.
Shrug. After they get past my doorman and my personal security, I will gladly go with them as long as they don't put their nasty hands on me.
they intercepted you as you were on your way to your personal house with your personal doorman and your personal security.
Fine. My lawyer's on speed dial. What are they gonna do?
They just want to talk.
Sure.
So are you casual? Like, you're not? I assume you're not resisting. You're not talking to them.
I mean, I'm not chatty, but let's see what they want. What questions they want, you know?
All right.
So we see him being drug in.
Yeah.
Eh,
You see Terry kind of not being drugged in, but being escorted in. They sit
Killer.
him. What's that?
Gillard, we are peacefully sitting. Terry's just.
So they kind of sit Gillard down across from you, and attach his handcuffs to the steel bolt that's on the chair next to him, so that way he can't move because he's currently under arrest. But you
And-
guys are sitting across from each other, and you guys kind of recognize each other from the night before.
I give him the head nod, but it should be noted that before they moved my handcuffs over to the side rail, I saw them doing that and moved my hands to accommodate them. So they're not like grabbing my hands and forcibly pulling me anywhere. No
Okay.
one's doing that. I'm just like I'm used to this by now, so
You're
all
compliant.
right. Left side, sure. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Fine. We'll pretend I can't get out of these. Yeah, great. All right, dude. Neat. I'm in handcuffs.
I look at Gillard and I'll say, "Don't worry. I'll make sure they know you didn't stab the guy."
I'm gonna cuddle up
Sarcastic
next.
laughter.
I'm gonna cuddle up next to Gillard and casually stroke his hair.
Terry is looking at you and talking at you, but he seems mildly distracted.
Let me pull up Mike's sheet real quick.
Is there something on my face?
No, just admiring your haircut. It's a very fine hair.
Are you trying
thank
to
you.
interact with her hair, or are you just like goofing around?
I'm just messing with Terry.
Okay. I didn't know if you were using your poltergeist ability or.
Oh no. No.
Okay.
I did think about freeing Gillard.
So,
Care
Gillard,
of
you're
my own volition. So
you're sitting there, and Terry's just kind of like, not staring at you, but it's kind of like he's staring through you.
I like
It's
to
a
think
little
my eyes
unnerving.
just keep wandering slightly upward from Gillard's eye line. Like, I'm trying to pay attention and be polite. It's just not working.
I'm gonna stick my hand through Gillard's head to where just the same fingertips are sticking out. And I'm gonna go. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Terry winces and then suppresses a smirk, still while trying to talk to you.
What is
I
that
mean, I don't know
from?
what we're talking about at this level because I was just saying, hey, I'm not like starting a conversation. I'm just sitting here with my
Terry's just
arms
staring at you,
crossed
kind of
at
trying not
wrist,
to
like-
laugh.
Terry
Yeah,
has
we're
the
not
gift
chatting.
of gab. He will talk at you, regardless of whether you talk back.
All right. I mean, if you're just talking at me, it's a one-sided conversation at this point because I'm just kind of looking around, trying to see where the people that I know are.
He's used to that.
So, after, I'd probably say about half hour, a group of police officers come out, cuff Gillard, take him back to an interrogation room, and cuff you to the table, and sit down. The same portly officer from the night before, sitting across from you, looks exhausted, and I did not write down. What name did you give him the night before?
Jacobs.
Thomas Jacobs.
Thomas Jacobs. That's
Well,
right.
Officer McCarthy, nice to see you again.
I wish this was under better circumstances, Mr. Jacobs. You know why we brought you in?
No, officer.
All right. Well, before we proceed, I have to ask: did the arresting officer read you your rights? You understand? You don't have to speak to us.
Yeah, I know my rights, but I was not properly Mirandized.
All right. Well, at this point, he reads the Miranda rights to you.
What are those?
Yeah, what are the
You have the
charges?
right.
My lawyer's gonna want to know what those are.
Charges are giving a false statement and a fake name to a peace officer.
You know, obstructing an investigation would be better.
That's a fine point. I appreciate your help on that. He writes a note down.
Hey.
He's like,
Angling for the upgrade.
We're all a team here, man. Yeah. Obstructing an investigation is way better. It sounds fancier, you know, if you want to.
it does. It's about the same length of time. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll cut to the chase.
Thank you.
That's petty bullshit. I just want to know, what do you have to hide? Why would you not give us, like, why are you obstructing justice? It kind of gives us the impression that you were involved in this.
Nah, dude, it's Thursday, you know, and I don't try to make a habit out of talking to the police in a crowd of people. I mean, I'm a fixer. I have a reputation to maintain. I can't be seen palling it up with the police, can I?
I'm sorry,
though I
you're a
know
what?
some of you.
Master Miss.
I need to make sure
That's maybe out of character.
Okay.
but I'm saying I have a reputation to maintain as a person. Like I don't let myself be seen talking to the police ever. Like ever. I'm not gonna cooperate with you in public. You should know that by now.
Well, I've never had interactions with you, so what is your profession? Like what's this reputation like? Most law-abiding citizens have no problem cooperating with the police. Why wouldn't you?
I work
Burn
in
your resource.
high-end acquisitions and so forth with individuals that value discretion.
Burn your resource and summon your finest lord.
You might want to roll for either flair or guile at this point. Wouldn't hurt to burn one of your usual suspects points.
Lawyer Seller, I'm going to the police. And I need only your strongest lawyer.
Better Call Saul. I'm gonna rename that stunt Better Call Saul.
That
That's
actually
gonna be who I need every time.
That's actually that'd be a really good one.
Give myself one, like when we change these out, if we ever do. It's like he can have a.
As long as the stunt stays the same, feel free to rename it.
Yeah, I might do that later.
Yeah, changing what the stunt does requires a milestone to be hit.
All right, I can wait for that. Can I add the stunt later, or
What do you mean add a stunt later?
can I choose not to use it and just roll the score
Yeah,
first?
you can just
and then... All right, people. Let's see how bad this goes.
That's
Not bad.
Yes.
That's
Precisely 1 point below godlike.
Yeah, that's
4.
Well,
It's a 4.
You're mixing up ladder and scale there, Terry. That is a
I like to
great...
think of them as being like pretty cool adjacent.
It's true. Let's see what the officer with. Yeah, he buys it.
Yeah.
Damn.
He
The-
thinks
the-
you're in
Some
the
of my
imports-exports
investors
trade.
Don't.
The fact that
Yeah.
you haven't resisted arrest, the fact that you've been complying with them, it's all added to your credibility that you were just at the scene at the wrong time. You were nervous. You just you didn't want to get wrapped up in this.
Since it's going well, I want to add just one more thing.
Just be careful on piling on. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do. Maybe I shouldn't, but I just want to like add a little thing.
Is Shewn sleeping?
I need a
No.
no. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't.
I'm reading stuff online. Sorry.
Okay, no,
Great
it's fine.
information.
I was like, is he pulling an almond?
Oh, just the angle of where I'm at. I'm sorry. I was looking around my
Oh.
mic. Is that better?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I really wanted to catch you sleeping on cam.
No, it's
I'm
fine,
sorry.
no
Go ahead, Master.
Yeah, for a reason. I'm just like, I'm trying to like to convince him that such and such. Since I did so well, I'm like, he I have to give my donations under this alias for tax reasons. If you believe that, because my investors don't, yada yada.
Fair enough. So I have to ask you now. What did you see last night?
Well, I saw an old lady with shoulder length gray hair in a sweater and yoga pants try to, well, not really try. Um, she was struggling with this really well built middle aged guy and and like in a raspy voice, like, give me back the box, and he was like, I guess, blocking it with his body between the box and her. And then um she kind of just like walloped him one and then grabbed him in the back and put him like in a I don't know if this is the proper term for this because I haven't watched in so long, but like a rear naked chicken with the arm behind.
What?
That's the move.
There is a rear naked choke,
Choke, yeah.
and you can chicken wing somebody.
He
It's
writes
not a chicken
down.
wing. It's
He
not a
writes.
chicken wing.
He writes down rear naked chicken question mark on his piece of paper.
I'm so sorry. I can't think of the move, but it's like an arm bar but behind.
I really wish you had a camera right now to show us what this would look like. Anyways,
Like I physically have my left arm behind me.
If you put the left arm behind them
I
and
know
you
it's-
pin their wrist to their own back, and
Yeah.
then you pull their elbow, that's a chicken wing.
Pull it upward. Yes.
All right. So he writes down exactly how you describe this.
So as I'm talking, I'm kind of like moving my hands the way that like I saw her
you're
punching.
currently handcuffed to the table in front of you, so you'd be like,
Yeah, within that. Like I'm trying to like move my arm behind me and stuff, like acting
Okay.
stuff out. It's very active.
pantomiming.
Yeah, it's sort of trying to pantomime and drawing attention to the fact that I am still handcuffed and I am still willingly cooperating with you, keeping my hands where you can see them. Like playing that side of it up too.
Okay.
And then she just punches him, and then she grabs him. She gets his arm behind him, and then she stabs him in the neck with something.
So one of
And
the
then he starts
one of the witnesses had described that you attempted to take down the perpetrator. Did you get a good look
When
at her?
When I saw him on the ground gasping, and I saw her grab the box and run away, I did stick my foot out to try and trip her up, but I was not successful, and I didn't really get a good look. So it was just kind of a, casually as I walk along, kick my foot out type of deal.
All right.
I'm not trying to stab too, I mean,
Well,
life is short.
we appreciate your cooperation with us today. I apologize that it came to this. If I encourage you, next time, be a little more forthcoming with law enforcement. We have no. We don't want to waste our time. We don't want to waste your time. It's best not to hide details. And with that, he raps on the door. An officer comes in, kind of escorts you out through the lobby. Terry's still kind of sitting there, patiently waiting.
Oh, Terry, there he is. There he is, dude. Say something.
Hey, dude.
Say something. This is
I
our
wave.
chance to get a rich friend. Come on, look at those shoes.
I'm saying hey dude to the officer that's escorting me out. And I'm like, hey dude, how you doing? You alright?
Dude, come on,
He-
Terry.
Kind of grunts at you and just says,
Long day, huh?
"Hope, yeah, hope we don't have to see you again."
Damn it, Terry,
Me
why
neither,
couldn't
dude.
you have been gay?
So, with
Good
that,
one, man.
with that, the sketch artist comes up, meets with Terry. Has Terry go through, kind of describe in detail what he had saw, and Terry,
What we were planning to do there, actually.
yeah,
Before the sketch artist, I was
All right.
going to say to somebody convenient, by the way, this bag was at the scene. I slipped my mind completely the other day. But I believe these were his.
oh, all right. So it's like the guy, the beast of a man at the front desk. You hand the bag over to.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
gonna run a hand through my hair as I walk out the door.
So
There goes our
as
meal ticket.
as you hand the bag to the guy, he looks in and he says, "So took evidence from the scene of a murder."
Told
It
you.
was a bit of a stressful moment there, officer, and it slipped my mind completely. It's all there. It's all there. You flip through it. It's whatever he had, apart from what the lady stole.
Would you prefer to roll flair or guile in this situation?
I think that's more of a flair thing for me.
All right.
That's
Go
how I
roll it.
do everything.
That's all good. Kind of grandiose in your explanation of it.
At
Fuck
all
you
times.
guys.
What'd you roll?
4.
That kind of
Rolled a
Oh, that's
great.
3-1-2.
He eyes you suspiciously, like this is a load of bullshit, but he can't prove it.
And then he looks in the bag and sees I've just handed him
The laptop and the
$4,000
tablet,
of
and yeah.
electronics.
Apple anytime now. Thank you.
Send your fanfic too.
And then he's
Said
like,
you hated him. What do you want?
and then he's like, okay, so he's a bit of a dumbass, but if he stole anything, there wouldn't be $4,000 of electronics.
That's a fair assessment to it. So at that, then so he takes it, he catalogs it with evidence, and the sketch artist comes, takes your description of the gentleman.
I was gonna let Mike take over for it.
All right.
Because Terry, I've decided his real problem with art is his visual memory and ability to describe things. Fabulously poor. Mike?
Mike's the talented artist.
All right. That actually works. I was gonna fast track this, but now I want to RP this. So you sit down with this real scrawny, pale-looking woman. She's got her hair pulled back into a bun. Looks like she doesn't want to be here. She's essentially a struggling college student who happens to be really good at art. Feels like she's destined for greater things, but this pays a paycheck. And she looks at you. Describe what you're wearing for me.
So,
We've actually discussed this.
Oh, have you?
A little bit.
Terry's outfit, respectable though it may be, has seen better days. He's got on beat up leather brown shoes. His jeans, you know how you wear the jeans long enough, you keep kind of stepping on your own heels, it just rips the hem off the bottom of them.
Yeah, those are my everyday wear.
Yeah, he's got those. He's got what might have been quite a nice sweater at some point. It has worn threadbare a place or two. But he's got a winning smile. If Mike is smiling right now, given that Mike's in charge.
I have to ask: is this a like when you say the sweater with the it being kind of worn? Is it a Cosby sweater?
It is not too far off. It is a knit sweater.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
no, Mike is definitely smiling ear to ear and probably staring a little uncomfortably.
She kind of fidgets in her seat.
I tend to have that effect on people.
How would you describe this woman's features?
How would I?
Well, there's no one else
You're the one
here
in
that
control,
saw.
aren't you?
Yeah.
No, Mike, he hasn't been in control for a while.
And she kind of looks around the room. She's, well, I don't see anyone else here who was at the scene of a murder last night.
Harry, deep within their shared mind. Keep it together, Mike.
That would be awkward if there was somebody else in here with us. You have a good point. What was your name?
Jessica.
Jessica, like Jessica Rabbit from that movie.
Oh my god.
What movie?
You know, the one with the rabbit?
It was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, that's what it is. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? That was kind of a cop movie, too.
Oh my god.
I've heard that before. Artist, Jessica Rabbit. Anyways.
Have you seen it?
I have.
Oh. You want to catch a movie sometime?
Mike.
No.
You gotta remember it's my body you're working with.
I know, I'm doing this for you. So...
I'm sorry. Who are you talking to?
You, dear Jessica, my dear. Yes, I'm doing this for you. Let's get down to brass monkey.
Tax.
No, tax. Thanks, tax.
Can you hold one moment? And at that point, she picks up a phone on the table. She goes, "Yeah, can you have someone outside the door? This, yeah, it's one of those type of people."
So
And
surprised you didn't ask.
I'm just, yeah, I'd feel more comfortable if someone was there. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. And she kind of hangs up the phone.
You don't have to worry about anything. I'm the safest person in the entire universe to be in this.
Oh my god.
I'm
Mike, you know what this does to people.
Dad, we're going.
That timing.
Oh, you got the backup tablets? We need to do that.
It's the way to go.
You gotta hot swap them.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we're gonna go a little out of character here. I have heard the new way to punish children is not to take away from their toys, but to give them
don't
their
try them.
electronics, but take the charger away. So that way, as they're in their room, they have to watch the battery life slowly diminish.
It's inhuman.
I'm waiting for my children to be old enough to test that theory out.
It works.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, so
I did make a guile roll to convince her that she's safe with me.
all right. Let's see how well or bad this goes.
And as a matter of fact,
She gets goosebumps and she's
She's a little chillier than normal.
yeah.
oh, you should have her be
Weirdo.
affected by my trouble. I have a trouble specifically for this.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Off-putting grace. So describe to me how your trouble would impact this situation.
Oh, I've got this. I've got this. if you'll allow.
Oh,
Do you-
please do. I think you understand the dynamic.
So obviously Terry's got the evangelist hair, right? That
It's a little
even-
choppy at the moment, but yeah.
It's a little choppy, but still somehow it just manages to fit into this perfect form of evangelist hair, right? And he's got, despite being a little grubby and a little worn himself, perfect pearly white smiles, right?
Flawless.
And that piercing gaze. However, there's an idiot talking through this body. And he just refuses to break eye contact, and that charming and yet somehow sinister evangelist smile has not wavered. So he's literally saying all this, staring directly into her eyes as deeply as he can, smiling from ear to ear.
Deep in his mind, Terry goes, just tell her about the face, Mike. Just tell her about the face. It'll be fun. She'll draw something. You can talk about the drawing.
The face. Whose face are we doing?
The old lady that stabbed the guy.
Oh, the old lady. That's right. Okay, so you want to talk about old ladies, right?
I want to talk about the perp that stabbed and murdered a gentleman last night. For the love of God, can...
Okay.
You said it's a woman. What? How old was she?
I believe in you. I believe in you, Mike. You can give her a stunningly accurate description.
You know what? May I?
She looks at you a little
What?
disturbed.
Can I see your pad and pencil?
Oh my.
This would be easier.
Sure, why not? And she hands you her pen and paper.
All right. So just once again, Mike is a talented artist. He graffiti style, like Banksy. So he's gonna do like he's gonna do a like a new school graffiti style like caricature of the person.
What do you want to roll for this?
Um,
And I remind you, with my stunt, you can use whichever of our stats is higher for.
I'll go with my highest stat then.
Well, it
if
does
that's
have to be a stat we actually have, though.
well, Guile's my big one.
My flair is 3.
My
So
Guile's
if you need to
3.
use flair, you got a 3 in flair too.
Yeah, Guile's 3 as well.
Roll either one, because since Mike's in control at this point, even though it's your body, it would be Mike's skills.
I took a stunt specifically so that
Yeah.
he could use mine.
All right, no, that works then.
There you
So,
go.
all right,
Roll is made.
you put together a really good drawing.
I'll
Like,
make sure
she-
to.
She looks at it. She looks impressed that not only is it look like she was expecting to get a stick figure back, and she actually gets this 3D penciled. Like, it took longer than expected, but it looks really good.
Did she notice that I wrote Terry's phone number with XOXO call me at the bottom?
Mike, you've forgotten we don't have a phone anymore.
It's the hotel room.
It's the last payphone left in New Orleans.
It's what was her name? Dana?
Jessica.
No, Dana from our younger days. The rich girl. Prim's character.
Oh, Danny?
Danny.
Danny is Danny's phone
Danny,
number.
yeah.
Oh my
That's
Terry
good.
hasn't noticed that yet. He's just encouraging Mike, saying, "Damn, that's a good drawing, man."
I don't think Danny's bisexual, but okay.
She's probably not at that address and that phone anymore either. It's been a while since we spoke.
Probably.
It's been a decade.
Let me make a note to bring Danny back for a future session.
Ah.
All right.
Yeah,
So-
whatever.
So with that, she finishes it up. She knocks on the door. An officer comes in, escorts you out. With that, we're gonna wrap up the session because I know where we want to go, but I want to give a little bit more attention to this point because we've
just-
kind of reached the half point mark.
Well, one last thing on our way out, since I'm still in control for at least a little bit longer.
Yeah.
For a brief moment.
Everybody we pass gets finger guns.
This is now Spider-Man 3.
That's a cop looks at you quickly. No, that works. So at this point, how does everyone feel about the campaign and where things are going? Do you feel like do you like the looseness of it? Do you want it to be a little bit more structured to where everyone's forced to be in one group? What are your thoughts?
Oh, I'm having a field day.
Obviously, we're enjoying the shtick.
Yeah. I
Alright.
like the looseness, and I feel like I have a fair number of opportunities to roleplay, which I like.
Okay.
I mean, I personally need to develop Morgana's character out a little more, at least her voice, basically. But I'm enjoying it.
Okay. Yeah,
I
and
like
I will say that's the thing I really like about Dresden Files is it really is an open world. Things can go a number of ways, and it really is more improv than it is dungeon crawler, which other games are. It's not, you're not rolling for skills every other chance you get. It's more about the story, but character creation kind of sucks in this game just because it's so open. And like one of the hard times I have with creating nemesis for you people is like, do I really have to create stats for every single person? So that's why I want to check with everyone to make sure they actually enjoy the direction.
Yeah, it was interesting.
I vote that Jillard gets to fuck shit up and retaliate.
I mean, I'm not.
Go ahead.
I understand why you had to do that. You know, because the whole point was for them to bring me in because I failed that role. You know, and that was fair, I guess. And all. The whole mic thing was a little
Comma, but.
the whole mic thing was a little confusing, but I think I handled it pretty well.
No, you handled
except
it
for that
really well.
one- Except for that one thing where I slipped up out of character and said that I was a fixer.
That's why I wanted to give you a chance to correct yourself.
Yeah, yikes. That was my bad. But,
No, it's all good.
I think it's interesting. I'm happy with the choices that I made with that, He's not going to be too confrontational because he works with some of them, but like
I wanted so bad to bust you out of the police station and go on an adventure.
I think if you had tried
With
to
food and clothes and no cockroach.
Yes, it would have been all on your dime.
if you would have tried to break me out, I would have just looked at you like, what do you think I'm going to do? You think I'm
No,
not
but-
here because I want to be? Like,
In a town with a fixer, like a proper city with a proper socioeconomic structure for its criminal activity. Doing that to a fixer because you don't know who they are has serious repercussions for the police.
Yeah.
They get blackballed internally because the fixer makes a note and talks to the commissioner next week when they go for golf.
And then there's like CIs that get impacted, and what really the way for your character specifically and the way the fate dice rolled was more of a matter of you rolled well enough to where that detective didn't know you, but the guy who was standing there eyeballing you knew roughly who you were. He knew that while he didn't know you, he had a CI that has referenced you before. And he knew that name that you gave wasn't accurate. And because of that, he mentioned to the detective, hey, you might want to call her back in because something doesn't sit right.
Call him back in.
Yes.
There's gonna be a lot of that.
There will. I'm horrible with it. I apologize in advance.
Tom is worse.
Do you want me to apologize? Wait, Tom is a guy?
Tom's a girl.
No.
Oh, all right. I was like, I thought Tom was a girl. So for the viewers, we're talking about our Call of Cthulhu campaign. All right. So, do you guys like the investigative kind of baseline that's been set up so far? I've given you guys a few clues on how to like laying the groundwork. I just like that. I want to see if you guys like that style of game, or would you prefer more fast-paced action hijinks?
I'm very new at this system, and I appreciate slower.
I'm
pace
easy.
because I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh, it's all good.
And
Yeah,
a lot of
I'm
times
easy.
I'll be honest, I
have
don't
to
know
work-
what I'm doing either.
And
I'm easy, but I'm also like personally privy to like a little more fast paced, like hijinks. But I mean, it can wait.
Okay.
Hit us with the action when you feel the action has come into its proper time.
There will be more action the next session. Because as of right now, so one thing I want you guys to keep in mind for the next game that's gonna take out is you had this super powered person steal a box that they can't open. Someone has a key for it.
And it's the one person they got the best look at.
Ooh.
So
Oh
am
God.
am I allowed to do all the stuff you said that would impact a proper fixer?
What do you mean?
Or
In
you said,
short,
like,
yes, but
that they would like talk to the commissioner. Am I allowed to in downtime mention something then, like,
yeah.
the
Yeah,
optics of that?
Yeah, so yes, comma, but. So when the next session takes off, it's going to be minutes to hours later. It's not like it's going to be days later, but there's going to be lulls in the story where there's going to be fast forward a week, fast forward a month, fast forward a year kind of thing. Where I'll give so essentially what ends up happening is when we hit a milestone point, it's going to be we've wrapped up this chapter or book of the series where you've hit the objective. Time passes. You kind of everyone does their own downtime type things. You play golf with the commissioners, someone builds their cult, someone
unspecified.
Yes. And and that's where you grow as a character. You have a chance to change some of your stats, maybe some stunts, different things. You grow who you are. And as part of that, you can improve your backstory.
he tried to convince your spiritual anchor to let you ride in his body and get laid so he can experience that for the first time.
So you
We're
saying
gonna
that
need clean clothes first.
And just, I know Mike's
Okay.
annoying, but I do have to point out that he was like 17 or 18 when he died.
hold on, I need to make a note for a possible annoying Jack the Ripper scenario in New Orleans.
I'm saying it's a major development and it can't be done in between times. It has to be at a milestone.
Yeah,
right?
that'll be. And there's two types of milestones in the game. There's or small milestones and major milestones. Small milestones are more of a few weeks to a month go past. Major are like we've wrapped up. So the way I kind of have this laid out is I know where the start and the end of this campaign is. That when we reach that point, it's the end of a major milestone. If everyone's happy and likes the game and they want to continue playing it, maybe in a few months we'll do another session of this and there will be another campaign story. So view it as mild milestone or small milestones are chapters, to where a major is the completion of a book that's part of a trilogy.
Well, I mean, we all know what's going to actually end up happening, though, is the actual guy who writes the Dresden books is going to hear about us and be totally inspired and write stories about our characters in the Dresden universe.
It's gonna do that. I have to figure out why I'm with you guys in the first place.
Oh,
Because I'm so fucking
Church-
likable.
there you go. See, that's an
Sure.
easy one. Church and I are working hard to angle ourselves into some street artist money to fund some street preacher activities.
Well,
All right.
and I should also point out that Mike remembers Gillard by face. And according to Mike, that's our new rich friend that's going to whisk us away and show us all the lavish joys of life.
So
So-
they may be like chasing Gillard like down to the Big Easy enchantments or something. And now Morgana has to deal with a couple kids.
Oh, you say kids.
She's 46 for all intents and purposes. Terry's like a kid in her eyes, even though he's
You're
25.
gonna open that third eye and you're gonna revise your opinion of Terry.
Do what?
I said you're going to open your third eye at one point and you're gonna revise your opinion of Terry.
So
Okay.
You'll see me too.
Shewn and Morgana, are you familiar with what the third eye is?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with what the soul gaze is? Because you're both wizards, so you both have this.
Yep. I read it.
Okay.
Yeah. I read
Okay.
it.
All right.
I
So
kind of
the-
wanted to like see if maybe I could swap out Soul Gaze like in that core stun for like one of the Fey ones that I really liked and felt fit my character, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
soul gaze is inherent to a wizard.
Okay, yeah, Jacob mentioned that, but
Yeah,
I thought
it's
I'd ask anyways.
yeah, it's if you're going with the wizard, it's inherent.
Okay.
And it has lasting impact on who you are, and like you can never forget what you see. So when we did the last campaign, the one-off,
Mhm.
you know how there was the book where she had a bunch of like crazy scribbling of different things of people who had wounds and scars and stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She was a wizard and didn't know it, and she had the third eye and she didn't know how to close it. So it would open randomly and it would close randomly. And you see if everything she had wrote was all the wounds that people had to their soul. Some of the cases she had saw demons, and it's when you see that kind of stuff, even when you know what it is and it sticks with you, you at least can kind of compensate. Or you like in Dresden Files, Harry Dresden, he kind of has this dark sense of humor where he cracks jokes about things really inappropriate, and that's how he kind of adjusts and handles the situations. And this woman, she had no idea what was going on, and she just had a mental breakdown because of it. That's kind of what the kind of impact the third eye can have. Same with soul gaze. Okay. Soul gaze is kind of the third eye, but only triggers when you look someone in the eyes. You see the beautiful and you see the ungodly horrible.
Do they have to actively use that?
When you look at
if you look at someone in the eyes, it triggers like that.
What about if I do it?
We do that a lot.
The soul gaze?
No, I mean I don't have a soul gaze.
We can't. We're not magical practitioners. Right. I'm saying we look people dead in the eyes a lot.
Yeah. The other person has to reciprocate looking in the eyes. Because, like, you can train yourself to look someone at the nose. So it looks like you're staring them in the eyes, but you're really focused on their nose.
Oh, no, I mean, what about Mike in particular? Because Mike likes to get into people's faces that can't see him. Does that still count? Or
no, it's the
They have to be able to see you.
Right. They do have to physically be able to see.
If someone had a soul gaze with Terry, whether you're in control or not, we'll find out. A couple of wizards who haven't had direct interactions with Terry yet.
Why do you look like
I prepared a description for Terry's true nature in case it happens.
Why do you look like a fat Vietnamese kid?
Yeah, and Morgana's like really she likes to look around a lot. Like people see her as the neighborhood eccentric anyways. So she's okay with being a little weird and like a little fae. She literally is a little fae. But yeah, she's fine with being seen as that.
The one thing I'm going to let the party know about is make a note of the symbols that you came across. Not everyone has been shared with those yet, but your character should make a note of them because those are going to be pretty substantial to the story. And right now you have multiple people with different pieces of the puzzle. All right. Any questions? Any changes you guys want made?
All solid for now.
All right.
I do have my ectoplasmic cohesion ability to use my abilities, I guess. How often does that recharge?
Every fortnight.
So I would generally say after every session, but that's kind of subjective because if you guys spend essentially a 4-hour session in one warehouse, which equates to 2 hours, it wouldn't recharge. But in this case, it kind of recharges after a day or after a period where you've had a chance to kind of relax. So I would say you used it at the police station, right?
No, I to take over Terry, I didn't take anything. He's a willing.
It would kind of be like next day.
Okay. No, that's fair. That I was just wondering. I was real timid about using some of it because I was like, what if these don't recharge until like the end of the entire session?
Yeah, it's it's really more after there's a break in action. Okay. Is really where it comes down. They don't the Dresden Files Accelerated particularly doesn't have initiative rolls per se. It's kind of very loose. So like if everyone, and that's why I was noting like who was engaging the the woman, and who was standing back observing, and who was just completely ignoring what was going on. Because the way initiative, for lack of better terms, works in here is, how does it work from the story standpoint? So the fact that Terry was getting involved and actually putting himself in the middle, she's attacking, she goes first, but he would be next if he wanted to respond. The farther you are away from it, the less likely you would be to respond, because it's not like role based.
I think Terry and I could have taken her.
I don't believe we've got a 2-4 score between us.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet you two would not have been able to take her.
I could have taken her.
The whole party might have been able to take her.
I'm telling you, man, I could have taken her down with a gun. Boom, dead.
Hey, fate works in mysterious ways.
Right.
It's very possible. It's also very possible you would have shot a cat who was crossing the street.
If I ever shot a cat, I'd just shoot myself right afterwards.
There's a reason why Morgana said no.
At least I asked, right?
Yeah.
It's very conscientious.
Well, she makes better decisions than I do. I mean, I have a gambling habit, so sometimes I have to lean on her to make the right decisions.
Mike's the exact opposite. Encouraging Terry to do everything wrong.
One of the things I'm going to be doing, especially now that everyone's had a chance to kind of play their character and will have a chance to kind of grow their character, I plan on adjusting the story to both involve your high concepts as well as your troubles. So like Shewn, you being involved in gambling, I guarantee you there's going to be some kind of casino or betting taking place in the next coming sessions.
And I will bet all your money.
There's Harrah's right down by the riverfront there.
Yep.
Already got noted as a landmark. But I also get the sense that Freddy isn't necessarily the normal blackjack kind of guy. He's more of the rock, paper, scissors kind of guy.
He's more the craps guys because he can stop the dice where he wants them.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see Vegas Vacation?
Nope.
I don't think so, no.
So it's bad, but it's good. It was like the last of the like Chevy Chase led vacation
National
movies.
Lampoon.
Yes.
Actually, yes, I know what you're talking.
They go to like the old strip, and instead of playing like craps or blackjack or poker, he plays like war and rock, paper, scissors.
Okay, that's not me. No. I'm all about anything that I can manipulate its movement to my advantage.
You'll have chances for that.
Oh. Mike could make us a sizable amount of money in there, Terry.
Mike and I.
That is true, but we do not come from a gambling part of the country, so we might not have thought of that yet.
Yeah, well, Mike
probably
and
not.
I might get together on that.
You have to remember, casinos like to hedge their bets, paranormal or not.
It is true enough. In the Dresden universe, there are mobsters that are aware of the supernatural. One might expect some casinos.
Yeah, and if there was any casino in the country that believed in the paranormal, I'd be willing to bet it'd be in New Orleans more than Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
I can see Mike getting caught. Oh, I'm just a lost spirit wandering through.
It's very possible that Terry goes to walk inside the casino and Mike gets ripped out of him.
Oh, not a threshold. I'd be mad.
Oh, there's thresholds. But more specifically, casino wouldn't have a threshold as much as wards.
I think I can pass through wards without any issue. It's thresholds that get me.
Yeah, so the way thresholds work in the Dresden verse is, so a bachelor who's renting a condo has a smaller threshold than a family that has passed down their house through 4 generations. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like a
it
family
is
lineage.
Proportional to the extent of life that considers that house a home.
Right.
Yeah.
A house
That's
is
why I
different
was-
than a bachelor pad.
That's why I was floating around in our hotel with no problem because nobody's
Right.
claiming that.
Right.
I do wonder, like, how Morgana's business is going to work, because I do kind of conceptualize her as like living in the city itself and like an apartment above her shop, basically. And I assume that, like, Freddy sleeps there as well, like, curled up as a cat.
So your threshold into the apartment would be stronger. Like your shop wouldn't have a threshold because the public has access to it. But your
Okay.
apartment into the apartment would have a threshold. But even then, since people kind of come in and there's not a long family, there's not a family lineage there, it's still weaker than, say, something that's been passed down through generations.
What do you mean? Her family's owned this for 1,000 years.
The only place her family's owned for 1,000 years is far, far from here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't sense that, but please let me know if I'm wrong.
That
You're
is
wrong.
probably 1,000 years old.
All right, I'm going to shut down the stream at this point.
Bye, guys.
If anyone has questions I think our next session will be on the July 3rd.
I
Is
will
everyone?
not be here.
I was gonna say who's gonna be available.
Yeah, I don't fly back home until the 4th of July.
All right. So the great thing about Dresden, and especially with how we split the party and stuff like that, we can continue without Shewn. We will miss him, but
Well,
doesn't
Distinctly.
have-
I'll
What's the
sleep in
next-
apartment?
What's the next session?
Black cat curled up in my shop.
it'd be
Mhm.
July 3rd.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Who's all available? Let's go there.
Oh, I am. That's no problem.
We probably should be.
I see
Alright.
no reason I'm not available July 3rd. I think Master Miss is past her talking time, so she might have to post it in.
Yeah.
It's okay. I just want to check. It's a holiday weekend, so if we need to reschedule, I'm okay with that. But between now and then, feel free. Let me know if you have questions. If you want to work on your character concept a bit more, we can work through that. But I appreciate you guys running through this campaign with me, and I like the way it's going.
Definitely.
Been
Yeah.
great fun so far.
Next time we'll have to make sure we put a window for chat.
Yeah.
We were having a fun time in there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll get to it. I started the layout about an hour before the stream, so we'll get there. I really love the new logo and the format we have, so there'll be more improvements coming.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Thanks everyone.
Good night, all.
All right.
Definitely.
Good night.